Welcome to the guide at Fish North Georgia. Brought to you by these fine sponsors. Spro, working with America's best anglers to design the world's finest fishing tackle. Nichols Lures, handcrafted to perfection. Georgia Blade, makers of premium fishing lures for over 3 decades and home to the Georgia Jig. Crypto Bass, tournament grade, Georgia made. And be sure to visit fishnorthgeorgia.com. Now here's Sammy Benitez.
Hey guys, it's Sammy Benitez here with Fish North Georgia the Guide, and today I'm going to tell you about my most recent trip to Hickory Log Creek Reservoir. So this particular day, I went on Wednesday and there was a front coming in that night. So the conditions changed significantly from the day we fished to the next couple days, but it's going to go back to what we were doing on Wednesday is going to be a pattern. Probably by the time you're watching this, I bet it will be a viable option. So the water was super dirty because we've had a ton of rain lately. By the ramp, you can see inches, maybe a foot the farther you get from the ramp. You have to go past the island a couple points before the water clarity opens up to maybe 4 foot of visibility, which is still pretty dirty. And as you get to the dam, it's clear, 10 foot plus, which is not unusual. It almost never changes back there. Water temps were low 60s, so like 62 degrees, which is perfect spawning temps. We are getting right there, perfect time to catch some of these spawning bass. And in the creek channels, those dirtier creeks, it was closer to 65 degrees. So the dirtier water, we tried targeting some bass in this area and we just weren't having too much luck. So we tried to move to that 3 to 4 foot visibility area. And we were throwing paddle tails, specifically this chartreuse and blue. This was a producer for some bites, as well as throwing a spinnerbait. I didn't have any Colorado blades with me, but I had some willow leaf. But I was throwing a chartreuse and blue, just like this skirt. And I hooked up with a few bass, throwing it very close to cover, working it along the bank instead of casting to the bank and retrieving. So paralleling that bank, got some bites. As we got closer to clear water, the Ned rig, something I'm going to be throwing a lot now for the spawn. The lighter you can go, the better you will do. This is a 1/15 ounce Ned rig. If you need to go heavier, you can. If there's more wind, you're going to need to go heavier, but lighter is better. So I was throwing this in clearer water. There's some big points in the reservoir that are very gradual and they lead up to a spawning flat. And so those are the areas I was throwing this type of bait. And we were getting some bites. Again, nothing huge, nothing significant. I was throwing paddle tail in this exact color. I was throwing this 4.5 inch Kitech by the dam. So the clear water. This is what I was throwing, hooking up with some fish. And really these fish that I was catching on this were off of main lake points. Some of them I was nailing the dam wall with this, letting it sink a little bit, hooking up with some bass way out there. So there really didn't seem to be a rhyme or reason for these fish. I don't know what they're doing out there, but I was catching them. So besides that, I don't have here but chatterbait. So Rob, the angler that was with me, he was throwing a chatterbait in very similar color to this. A little bit more vibrant, a little bit more oranges on there. But he was throwing a jackhammer in a bright orange color like that, kind of like a gill. And he hooked up with our 2 best bass for the day. One was a 3.8 pounder in dirty water, and the other was a 2.2 pounder in some kind of dirty water. And so we were taking something that I heard from Rick Clun say. He focuses on the dirtiest creek channels to produce the best bass. And so I told you before, we tried some dirty water and we didn't have luck. Well, we went to some other dirty water and tried to fish really where the dirty water meets the clear water. And really the thought behind it, I guess the science behind it, is a lot of the bait is coming to feed on whatever's coming in this dirty water, the runoff. And so a lot of the big bass are going to stage themselves ready to feed on this bait fish. These bluegill, these shad, whatever it is. And so we took that same approach and we got 2 good bass on this particular trip. So we had a 5 best of right around 10 pounds, which for hickory log is decent. This time of year is probably just about average. You should be able to catch close to 10 pounds when you're in the spawning season on hickory log. And so we had that front come through that same night. And an interesting thing, I was looking at the pressure, the barometric pressure, and it was dropping all the way to 4 p.m. 4 p.m. it started to rise. So we were fishing from about 1 to about 7 p.m. And from that 4 to 7 p.m. I have heard, as the barometric pressure is starting to rise, the bites start to die off. We didn't find that to be the case. We caught several fish from that 4 to 7 p.m. mark, including our second best, the 2.2 pounder, came right around 7 p.m. So that may be true, but we didn't find it to be not on this particular trip. It's just an interesting tidbit of data that I can offer to you. So get out on the water. Again, we just hit a front, but those conditions should be pretty much over for the bass fishing. You should be able to find these fish shallow. I'm talking 5 to 0 feet of water. I bet by this weekend it's going to be perfect time to start capitalizing on those bass. So I hope this helps you on your next trip to Hickory Log Creek Reservoir, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace, guys.
Thanks for watching the guide here at Fish North Georgia. Our mission is to build a community of anglers to give you the best and latest information to make your day on the water more successful. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, click the bell so you'll be notified of any future content. Make sure you check us out at fishnorthgeorgia.com, where we carry a large variety of bait manufacturers from here in the North Georgia area. So we appreciate you being part of our community, and we'll see you soon.